bloody diarrhea, probably about 30 times a day. So I lost about 40 pounds from the ulcerative
Wow.
colitis. Started German new medicine. Within the first month, like you said, I gained, I think, 25 pounds.
Shayne used my ulcerative colitis treatment plan to greatly reduce his ulcerative colitis symptoms. In just 30 days, he put on 20 pounds. Most ulcerative colitis treatment plans do not work because they do not fix the root cause of ulcerative colitis symptoms. This is why my UC treatment plan works. Dr. Hammer discovered that everybody with ulcerative colitis symptoms would have a ring in their brain in a very specific location 100% of the time. Your brain controls your colon. German new medicine shows us that UC symptoms will start after a conflict resolution, a resolution of an ugly, indigestible thing in your life. Watch this video and you will learn my ulcerative colitis treatment plan, and you will learn what Shayne did to completely get rid of his ulcerative colitis symptoms.
Hi, everybody. It is Mike, the Heal Your Gut Guy, and today I have a special guest. His name is Shayne, and he was suffering from pancolitis, and he used a combination of German new medicine and kind of like biblical principles to get rid of it. Welcome, Shayne. Tell us about your symptoms and how long it took to get them under control.
Yeah, what's up, Mike? So yeah, I started probably having symptoms, got diagnosed February 2021 is when I got my first diagnosis. I was kind of bleeding, probably, going to the bathroom initially, maybe 5 to 10 times a day, early 2021, late 2020, having a minor bit of blood.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout 2021, it just got steadily worse and worse. Was still kind of maintaining weight with medical marijuana. I was kind of bouncing back and forth with weight and treatment. But at the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, I was going to the bathroom, bloody diarrhea, probably about 30 times a day.
30 times.
And then went from 170 to 122. So I lost about 40 pounds at the start of 2022 from the ulcerative colitis, just the bleeding and the amount. I wasn't eating, couldn't eat because every time I ate, it was just pain, cramps. I was up all night, cramping in my bed, sweating, going to the bathroom at least. The night was worse because it was like I go to sleep for an hour, wake up, go to the bathroom, go to sleep for another 30 minutes, wake up, bleed, and it was just a mess. So
wow. So you got all the way down to what weight?
Yeah, from 170 to about 120. So yeah, about 50 pounds.
120?
Yeah. It was
Wow. And how tall are you?
5'9", 5'10".
Wow. That's very scary. And so you enrolled in our program and you started using German new medicine. How long did it take to kind of get your feet back under you?
Yeah, so even before that, I got diagnosed at the hospital. My wife, I started turning yellow. I was in about April, or no, late March. The last week of March is when it got really bad. And I just couldn't work. I quit my job. I just couldn't move really out of the house. I couldn't barely walk. So my wife's like, man, we need to go to the ER. And they put me in the ER, and ended up, I think your body holds about 5 liters of blood. I had lost almost 3 from the condition. Wow. So they gave me 2 blood transfusions and then just some IVs. And I was in the hospital for a week. And in the hospital, I remember Wednesday, I went in Monday. I was just really alone, man. I felt just like I'm too young for that. I'm only 27. And I was like, man, I'm just so young for this. God, I'm a believer, and I was like, God, I was sitting in my bed. I'm like, I just need something to help me, something to like naturally. I know you've given me the power in my body to fight this thing off with my body, not with medicine. And that was a Wednesday, so I was just praying that. And then I woke up Thursday, and my wife came in, and we just started looking on YouTube first about diets, and I was kind of like, man, I just don't know about that. And then I just happened to come across Heal Your Gut guy.
I don't
And,
know. I don't show up in search anymore, so I don't know how you came across me, but I'm glad you did.
man, I know, man. I don't know. It just,
I
your
used to
videos
be
come
up
up.
there. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
You just came up, man. I literally started watching probably, 4 or 5 of your videos. And then I was like, man, I think there's really something to this.
mhm.
I believe we're divinely created as well. And that's when that Thursday, I was still in the hospital. I enrolled in your program. And
Wow.
yeah, I got released the next day on a Friday, and just they gave me, packaged me up a little lunchbox of medications to take home, and
Okay.
a prednisone steroid, and then a anti-inflammatory mesalamine, which is like for ulcers in your colon.
Yeah.
And they told me to be on that until the steroid. They wanted me to be on for about 5 months, till about August or September. And then the mesalamine, they said that was a lifelong medication. And
It's good. It's a good medication to be on for life. It's very expensive.
dude, it was about $380 a bottle.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah,
insane how much mesalamine is. Yeah.
yeah, with insurance, and
With insurance. Yeah. Yeah.
right. So that, long story short, man, I just, I was still taking those at the beginning, but I really dove into the German new medicine as soon as I got out of the hospital. I mean, that Saturday, I was watching the videos, reading the testimonies, went on German new medicine. I like how you can like look at each body part in the tab and kind of read each testimony. So I was doing that. And then a big thing for me, man, was before I went to the hospital, I was just doing smoothies, like green smoothies. I was like, man, I bet if I can get the ginger and I'll, do that, my colon will get better. So the food track also was big for me. I watched a lot of your videos on how food's nutritious and not the enemy.
Okay.
And that definitely helped me pack on the weight really quickly back.
Good.
And also just get over that. That was a phobia. I mean, not the biggest track I had, but one where I hadn't, had the whole milk in probably 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Because I was such like I worked out all the time, and I've always heard dairy is like bad for people with, quote unquote stomach issues or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just never partook in it anymore, but
Okay.
bought a few things of whole milk and haven't had an issue since, man. I eat ice cream all the time now.
Nice.
So,
Nice.
yeah.
Cool. So I think like about a month into it, you were eating whatever you wanted. You probably put on like 20 or 30 pounds, and your stools were somewhat back to normal. How did that unfold?
Yeah. So when I first got diagnosed in the hospital, they did my blood work too, and this was crazy too, because they were shocked when
Weren't
this
you
happened.
anemic too?
Yeah, my hemoglobin was like a 6,
Yeah.
almost a 5, which it should be between like 13 and 17. And yeah, I was really, really anemic. And I got out of the hospital, started German new medicine. Within the first month, like you said, I gained, I think, 25 pounds. Just by eliminating a lot of the tracks. And then also the blood work. I was getting weekly blood work done. And I think at the 1 month mark, my hemoglobin had went from a 6 to, I think, a 12. So it had doubled.
Well, it's the anemia is really tricky because it's a lot. Look, they make it seem very scary because like your blood, so when you're in the healing phase, your blood vessels are like this. And so your blood just gets filled with water and it gets diluted. So like your blood test results look horrible. And then when the nervous system goes back to normal and your blood vessels become narrower, your blood becomes more concentrated. And it can do it can expand the volume by like 5 times. So like you're like literally within just like a span of a few hours, like your blood test could be extremely different. But I mean, you were probably somewhat anemic with all your blood loss though.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I mean, I gained back, I would say from April 1st to May 1st, I went from like 120 to about 148, 150. So yeah, about almost 30 actually. So
that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, I was eating whatever, eating a lot, as much as I could, and just started working out probably into April.
Nice. So what was your So the way that colitis works is when we're conflict active, there's a conflict shock. Our colon is going to develop extra gut cells to help us digest this hard to digest thing in our life. And so with colitis, it's kind of like we've digested this thing, but we're having trouble like eliminating it. So there was something hard to digest in his life that he just like couldn't get rid of. And when he resolved it, the body got rid of these extra gut cells, and that's when you have all the blood and the diarrhea. So what was your conflict that started all this?
Yeah, it started like really late 2020, and then into 2021 was when I got diagnosed. But it was really I worked for my dad. He owns a plumbing company here in St. Augustine, and for about 7 years I was with him, and our relationship just, as I worked, I think he got comfortable, I got comfortable, and it just kind of got where it was like he was harder on me than the other employees, I would say, and it was a point where I hated working for him almost. So it was going back and forth between quitting or just staying, because he's my family. I love him, obviously, but
yeah,
I ended up quitting, and I started a new job as a manufacturer's rep for the state of Florida for plumbing. So I was dealing with a bunch of wholesalers and manufacturers, and in 2021 is when the price increases and just COVID, it was just going crazy. And it was just a real stressful job, man. I mean, I was getting yelled at every day about prices, shipping, where's my product, blah, blah, blah. And I started that February 2021. The symptoms were still prevalent, but not, as bad as when I first got diagnosed. It kind of had gone away. But as the job got worse, just more stressful every day, and lack of support, I felt like, from my boss.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Like, you have this, like, the stressful order needs to be filled. You do your part and you do all the customer service stuff. And then it's like done. It's supposed to be there. And then it doesn't get delivered. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, it doesn't get delivered. And you get this nasty phone call.
Oh, bad,
like I could
man.
see that happening like multiple times a month to you.
Oh, all the time, man. It was, we did about 29 different manufacturers I represented for the state. So it was just every day, every day. If it was pipe, fittings, tools, whatever it was exactly that. Where's the truck's 2 days behind, man? I needed this yesterday for the permit, but it was just. So yeah, and that I started that about February, and by probably April, I knew I was ready to quit. Like, I was like, man, this is just not for me. But before I left my dad, he told me, he's like, I know you're gonna come back. So I had it in my mind, like, I'm not going back. Like, that's what I had in my mind. Like, I'm gonna prove this guy wrong, and even if it kills me, that's what I was thinking. And I stuck it out till February 2022. But throughout that year, my bleeding was just steadily getting worse. My bathroom trips were getting more frequent. I had, like I said, medical marijuana. I thought that would help. I was doing the RSO oil, I was just kind of ingesting it, hoping.
So you were getting your symptoms started while you were at this job?
Very much so, yeah. I mean, they kind of started when I was first with my dad in early 2021. But then throughout 2021, it just got worse and worse and worse at this job. So
when was the big flare where you dropped all your weight?
That was actually early 2022. So I quit this job.
So you think the resolution was when you quit this job that you hate?
Absolutely, yeah. I think I quit February. I think I quit like February 22nd. It had almost been a year exactly. And then I just got a temporary job for like 2 weeks, and I couldn't even work that job because literally, I think probably the 29th or the April, whatever, March 1st, man, the symptoms just went. And I was just.
Yeah, maybe quitting and then getting the new job was the resolution, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I was, like I said, I was driving for a company at this point, so I was traveling, but I was probably hitting a gas station restroom 15 times, and then at home I was going another 10 to 15 times.
Man.
So I was just pulling into gas stations all the time, just
Wow.
It was horrible, man. I mean, it was,
wow.
couldn't eat all day, you know. I mean, it was just, yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah,
That's horrible.
it was something. But and then, you know, like I said, when I was in the hospital, I just came on German new medicine, and I really liked how the tracks, you know, it talked about just, it made sense, because like the
Yeah.
whole time in 2021, I was telling myself, I can do this, I can do this. You know, I gotta just adapt to this stress. Like I just need to learn how to handle it. And for men, I think especially me, like I digest everything. Like I just keep it in, you know, and I don't like say how I feel, because I just want to be respectful to my boss, you know. But I could have told her, hey, I hate the job. But
yeah.
yeah, so I just kind of took the blows in my stomach and just dealt with it. And I could just feel my stomach too, man. It was crazy. Like just kind of felt like it was swollen up over 2021. And I'm a pretty lean guy. And yeah, it just made complete sense to me, man. And then I just started there with the job, you know, as far as the crisis and epi crisis, and then the resolution. And then also I just went into like my relationships. So like I went to my dad and made things right with him, and just kind of started breaking it down one by one, you know, where I felt like I needed to improve. And I mean, since then, man, I've been off the medication, got off all the medication probably in May. So I was on it from like April 1st to probably May 10th is when I stopped the medication.
Nice.
And like I said, they wanted me to be on it till August on the one pill, and then lifelong on the mesalamine. And I just said no. And since then, man, you know, even out of the hospital, when I first started, I've had no blood. Stools are formed. I eat what I mean, last night I had double decker ice cream cone. I mean, it's just
nice.
You know, there's no fear as far as, I think that's the biggest thing, man, with ulcerative colitis, is they scare you to death.
It's amazing the stories that I hear, like kids that are like 16, 17 years old, you know, and the kid gets told that stuff, and then, you know, their parents believe what the doctor is saying, and it's awful.
Yeah. I mean, when I was in the hospital, they gave me the prednisone, and before I'd even taken it, they told me, I want you to think about Remicade, which is the IV treatment. I'm like, well, I haven't even taken this pill yet, and you're already telling me that I need to think about the next step. And it's just like, you know, I just think it's a money game, I think. And
it is a money grab. And the funny thing is like, oh, it starts to work a couple of months in. And that's usually about the time,
right,
you know, if you're lucky, you know, you're getting over your emotional issues and the healing phase is completed. And it has a 50-50 it has a 50-50 chance of success rate. And, you know, that's just, some people are going to get over their emotional issues, and the other 50% aren't.
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. So one thing that a lot of people ask is like, okay, great. Like, so like this is the process. Like, first is identifying the conflict. It's so important to identify the conflict. Like, really, I had trouble identifying my conflict. Like, really push yourself to identify what it is, because once you identify what it is, there's like this line of logic in your brain. If I don't deal with this, I am going to poop myself to death. Now you have the motivation to start doing something to resolve this conflict. I don't know what you got to do to resolve this conflict. Only you can answer that. But you took steps to dealing with your job. You started talking with your dad, because like a lot of, you know, the brain likes to conserve energy. It doesn't like dealing with conflicts. But when you have that motivation, like, hey, I need to make peace with my dad in order to have my colon stop freaking out, then you that gives you the motivation to start heading in that direction, and you'll eventually get it.
Definitely. Yeah, another thing I really recommend too is the one-on-one coaching. I signed up. Yeah, I signed up for 2 of those with Daniel and, is it Deanna?
Yep, Deanna. Yep.
Yeah, and both of those, man, were really, really good.
Awesome.
I actually think I did 3. I did 2 with Deanna and 1 with Daniel.
Oh, awesome.
But
awesome.
That really, really helped me, like just to have the conversations with someone you really don't know.
I when I talk to Deanna, and I'm, because you call me an expert now, like you need that outside, because you're just so knee deep in your conflicts. It's like proofreading your own book. Like even the best authors can't do that.
Yeah,
You
and they
need that
kind of
outside perspective.
they look at, yeah, exactly. They look at it from just a neutral perspective and kind of be
Yeah.
like, well, why do you think that? Or why do you feel that way? And it's like,
Yeah.
well, why do I feel that way? You know,
We're the frog in hot water that slowly started to simmer, and we don't even know the water's hot. And that's just need that outside
absolutely.
perspective sometimes. So.
Yeah, and then another big thing that really helped me was like when I first got the program, I did the packet. I printed off the whole worksheet packet, and I
Okay,
just
glad I sometimes think like nobody uses those, so that makes, thank you. I need to put more thought into those. So
no, I used that. That was one of the biggest things, man. Was literally because when you're bad in school, they make you on used to make you on chalkboard write out the same sentence 25 times.
yeah,
but I just took the worksheet, man,
writing
and
is something we don't do anymore, and it really ingrains things into your subconscious, like especially for us kids nowadays, where we barely write anymore.
Definitely. So. Yeah, I did the worksheets, man. I would just write out every sentence, and then another thing I didn't really mention was I started journaling.
Okay.
When I got out of the hospital, man, I journaled every night. I would journal about the day, and then I journaled about what I ate, and I just did the affirmations that food is good, food is not the enemy, it's my emotional stress, and I'd kind of try and figure out how I'm dealing with each stress, each track. And that the journaling, man, you can look back at it now and just be like, wow, I have this whole book of just this struggle I went through, but like also how I went through it and how I overcame it, and I think that's really cool.
So let's talk about how you used your faith to kind of overcome some of these things.
Yeah, man. So I wasn't definitely not a Christian growing up. I'm 27. I got saved when I was 23. That's when I really gave my life to Christ.
Okay.
And I just, man, I get, when I first gave my life to Him, I kind of stopped. I was, smoking all the time, doing a lot of stuff. And I was like, I'm just gonna stop all this and just kind of really commit. And I got married, and me and my wife, we serve at the church we go to. We're really big into it. But as I was working these jobs, man, I just started slipping pretty bad, like backpedaling. And as far as faith goes, like stopped reading my Bible, stopped praying, started just believing I could do it all on my own. And that was cool about Germany medicine, man. I really liked that it was like a divinely inspired way of thinking. As far as like we're made to heal ourselves and to adapt. And it especially, man, like when you get close to death or like get close to a really serious situation, it really like puts perspective back into like, man, what is after this, And I just decided, man, I'm gonna just try and get my faith better and my relationship with Christ better. And man, I just started writing scripture. Like I would take Post-it notes, and just in the bathroom I had the German New Medicine kind of guidelines on the mirror, and then I had scripture on the mirror. So every time I go to the bathroom, I just look at that, and I'd be like, thank you, Jesus, for resolving this conflict or helping me get back to normal. And even if the stool was really loose, like in the beginning when I got out of the hospital, man, it was still kind of loose. So every day I'd just be like, Lord, I know you're making my body better. I know you're gonna give me solid stool. And sure enough, man, like I said, within probably 2 weeks, not even out of the hospital, I just had solid stools. And
nice.
Every time I journal, man, I just was saying, just a prayer first, and then I started just writing the journal, and then close it. I pray at night, and then I read. I just read other books, man. I read testimonies, like read faith-based books to help build my faith. Listen to podcasts.
There's a lot of testimonials in like the Christian Science websites and stuff of just colitis, Crohn's, thousands. There's
and we go to a pretty spirit-filled church, man. And like I remember at Easter, I went up to the altar and had people lay their hands on me and anoint me with oil, and that's something we believe in as far as healing. And I think that definitely made an impact in my progress. I'll admit that, like just having people pray for me, not fighting the battle on my own, and recognizing that. So
Yeah, for some people, faith can be or their religion can be like a big source of stress, or it can be a big source of, peace. And,
Definitely.
a lot of what Jesus was saying is like, you have to choose peace. And a lot of people don't even think it's like an option, but like, there's a way. Your brain's just not used to choose. It's just not in the habit of it.
Yeah, man. And I think a lot of it's like the guilt versus grace aspect. Like, are you going to walk around feeling like you're a miserable sinner all day? Or are you going to walk around knowing you're loved and,
Yeah.
redeemed? And because that's something I dealt with, man, was guilt. Like the guilt of, leaving my dad's company, the guilt of smoking weed all the time when I was a Christian, and it's just like, when I'd gotten in the hospital and got out of it, I just realized, man, like, yeah, I did those things, but like,
Yeah,
we have a God that has grace too, and I have this every day you have a new chance.
yeah.
So that was big, man.
That's
Just
something like the
readjusting.
disciples probably struggled with too, is like they felt guilty for their past things, but Jesus, forgave them, and, they relapsed, and, and they were even seeing Jesus do all these amazing things. So yeah, just it's to build your faith, it's to read the word, and just get exposed to it as much as possible, because we're being exposed to the opposite, all day long. So
All day long. Yeah. And then, it's always something, man. So you always got to stay, like you said, stay active, stay ready, and just your mind right, because another stressful thing for me, and I've dealt with it now, but it's like getting the bills from the hospital, man. I mean, that was just like, I don't have any issues, and I've kind of just learned to accept it. But I mean, it's crazy too. Like, I feel like if you're not ready and you see those bills come in, you could easily just like relapse, and
I could watch a video on how to make $1 million with crypto and get anxiety, because I'm like, oh, I missed out.
Right.
Yeah. It's yeah. So any advice for people, who are in the hospital right now and they don't know what to do?
Yeah, I would say my biggest advice is first, to know that you're not alone. There's a huge community of us, definitely, from all ages. I think I know some kids that are, and they're, like you said, 17, 18 years old that I've talked to that are dealing with this. And then people all the way in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. But that was the biggest thing too. Don't feel alone. And then also just, whatever is spoken over you, just know that that's another human's perspective. Only you know your body, and only you know what you can do. And I would say just have faith, and just trust yourself, because they're going to tell you you're dying. They definitely, like when I was in there, the doctor walked in and patted me on the leg and was like, man, if you would have told me you were this bad, you probably wouldn't be here. And I'm like, well, how the heck am I supposed to know I was going to be this bad? I mean, it was just, it was a nightmare, and it was horrible. I was in the hallway for a day because there wasn't enough rooms in the bed. I mean, it was just, so just don't let the current situations determine your future situations, I would say. Because it's so easy to just spiral down when you're in there.
They're not, they don't know they don't understand any of it, I would say. There's a time and a place where GI doctors can help, but it's a very small window, if you ask me. And especially the bedside manner makes the problem much worse.
They're looking at like a snapshot of your life where, man, I didn't have this condition my whole life, and all of a sudden it's genetically predestined on me, and I'll be a lifelong thing, even though no one else in my family has it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it just, the whole thing for me was just like, man, there's got to be a deeper root than just my body is now attacking itself because it's genetically designed to do that. And I don't think so.
In the body, there is some truth that the body is kind of attacking itself. You developed extra gut cells to digest this thing. We don't need these extra gut cells anymore. Let's get rid of them with the help of bacteria and fungi. And that process can yo-yo back and forth. Let's say you go back to your job and, you know, there's more drama between you and your dad and da 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 da. That's when it turns into like lifelong colitis. But luckily, you know, you found German new medicine fast, and you identified the conflict, and, you know, did a great job of coming to peace with the conflict, and, you know, it's over.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing I can say is I'm back working for my dad now, actually.
Yeah.
And you know, there's no issues. I don't have any issues with my stool or going to the restroom. It's just like, I feel like really once you find the conflict of the track and just sit down and just really think about it and just come to terms with it, and also maybe get the other person involved if it is another person involved in it, and just kind of say, look, maybe I messed up and I just want to make peace with you. You would be surprised how understanding people actually are, you know, and how willing they are to meet you halfway, even. Because it takes two in a relationship, and sometimes a lot of people see that. So I think it's
awesome.
It's hard for us to like keep it all on our shoulders, you know.
Yeah.
So
awesome, cool. Well, thank you so much for your story, Shayne. I know this is going to help a lot of people with colitis and pancolitis. All food is safe. I did, like, just to do a quick recap, learn the principles of German new medicine, find your conflict, and then, you know, work on fully coming to peace with it in all aspects. Like, it's really that simple. And we have the Rapid Gut Healing Program. You can enroll in that, and we answer your questions every single day in a Facebook group. We do live Q&As 3 times a week, and, you know, kind of hold your hand through the process of, you know, identifying the conflict, helping you find the answer. Only you can resolve your conflict, and we can help you find those answers and hold your hand through the process. So thank you, Shayne.
Yeah, man. Thank you, Mike. I have to say to you guys real quick, Mike's great, man, and I definitely would recommend him in the group, man. Like, I can't stress enough like the support you guys gave me, and just like you said, man, the Facebook post, hey, I've had some stomach cramps today because of this. I'm thinking, what do you think, man? And it's just like, boom. I mean, so I really want to say thank you to you, man, and just for trusting and giving all of us the opportunity to just find a new way of healing, and just, you know, I really appreciate it, man. So it means a lot to me, for sure.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time and, you know, putting your faith in us. So awesome.
Appreciate it, man.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.